So as a lot of you do know, a few months ago I decided to purchase the Dragonball Z complete box set manga collection. Now, I told you guys before, it has been some years since I read the original Dragonball Z manga. So doing this really refreshed my memory on the series. The last time I had finished the series was when I watched the anime back in high school. So that being said, I usually read Dragon Ball or watch it and take a few years break just to clear my head, so when I come back to it, it's like I never read it before. Now this video is going to be an opening to a brand new series where I discuss the manga canon versus the filler in the anime. So that being said, I decided to start with my favorite saga of all of the Dragon Ball Z content, the Saiyan Saga. Let's go right into it. So the first thing I noted here, which is a quick side note, take a look at Goku's shadow in this shot. Notice anything about him? Look at his colors. Now doesn't it remind you of his original gi from the very beginning of Dragon Ball? Just something that I noticed, maybe it was intentional, maybe not, but I just thought that was a nice little nod to Dragon Ball if it was such. So we begin here early on in the Saiyan Saga where we see Goku getting wood for his home by destroying the trees.
This one ought to do.
Not canon. When I originally watched this stuff, I sat through every second of the Dragon Ball Z anime filler, only to figure out that this was all wasted time. Thank you, Funimation. Really appreciate that. Honestly, this is all just character building, so I don't mind it too much, but at the end of the day, nobody wants to watch this filler. Now, if you pick up the Dragon Ball Z manga, you see all this stuff is not even in there. From the very first page, it starts with yours truly, the farmer with the shotgun.
Don't you come any closer! Look, I'll use this thing!
And immediately Raditz lands and they get into the confrontation, sticks true to what happens in the anime. The next thing that happens, Raditz goes after Piccolo, and then from there on, Goku ends up at Kami House.
Hi!
Hey, who's the kid?
You trying to earn some extra cash babysitting or something?
Now, this is one of the big filler moments here, is because this entire segment with Goku in the woods, Gohan in the woods being chased by the Sabertooth, as well as Goku going to catch him, never happens. As a matter of fact, the action picks up immediately in the manga, with Goku heading straight to Kami House and Raditz in pursuit soon after him, and right away we see Raditz land, and we know where the story goes from here. From here on out, the manga and the anime pretty much line up very well together. Piccolo and Goku team up, they go off and fight Raditz the same way it happens in the manga. The anime follows suit. Gohan jumps out of the ship, headbutts Raditz, leads to Goku, then grabbing Raditz from behind, and Piccolo hitting them with the special beam cannon and killing both of them. It continues to all line up very well up until we get to the point where Piccolo decides to send Gohan on the train, and then Gohan ends up going off onto a mission to help these little kids fight back. And that is where the show loses me, because this filler was very boring. But hey, let's go back to Goku on Snake Way. We see that whole thing where he's running along Snake Way. Yeah, that never happens in the manga. In the manga, we see him start the journey, and the next time we come back, Goku is at the end. So that means, for all my gentlemen out there, yeah, Princess Snake, she's not a thing. I know. Once Goku actually lands on King Kai's planet, he then begins to do the testing with King Kai. Don't worry, he still makes the jokes to make him laugh.
What's the difference between a jeweler and a jailer? One sells watches, one watches sells! I did it! You laughed, King Kai!
But one of the things that I noted here was Gregory is not a part of Goku's training regimen. As a matter of fact, Gregory is not even seen in the manga at all. That seems to be something that Toei and Funimation threw in there for their own, but again, they're not part of the manga, so that is not canon. Along with the Yajirobe segment, that is actually pretty hilarious when you look back at it, him just chowing down, claiming he's Goku's master, but again, that is also not canon. So then the story proceeds with the Saiyans' arrival, and before the fight begins, some more filler we see here is the parts where Nappa destroys the choppers. So once everybody shows up, they actually then split up the fights the way it goes down in the manga. Tien goes first, Then Yamcha goes after. Yamcha dies the same way, of course. And then Krillin attacks with his, I don't even know what you call this move, with the slow energy blast, and then it separates into like multiple ki blasts. One of the cool pieces of filler about the Yamcha fight with the Cybermen is when Gohan is trying to sense them and figure out where they are. Even though Piccolo tells him, you know, use your senses, feel them out. That's not seen in the manga. That's actually one of the cool fillers that I did enjoy. Once all the Cybermen are killed, Nappa then rushes at Krillin and Piccolo jumps in the way. However, in the manga, this is very different because once Nappa fully charges, he rushes at Tien and breaks his arm off. During this fight now, Piccolo and Krillin use the multi-form, which again in the manga never happened, but this was only to buy time for Tien, who is in the anime having flashbacks about the time he spent with Chaozu, which is again good filler. Once Tien sacrifices himself shooting his Kikoho, that's when more of the filler starts. Actually, the entire 3 hours that Vegeta decides to wait for Goku is all filler. Because you see, there's more news choppers. I skipped over a segment with the news choppers. There's actually more in between this. So yeah, just let that sink in for a second, guys. News choppers, they're really stretching that out, huh? But this is only to show that the other cast is able to watch the fight because they're not there. I understand it, but I could have done without this, you know? Didn't really care for this filler, gotta be honest. And during this whole 3-hour break, Nappa goes from city to city destroying it. And while this does build up more of Nappa's character showing how evil he is, again, this is filler I could have just done without. Once the 3 hours is up,
Time is up.
Oh, great.
So, it seems Kakarot decided to let you die on your own.
Nappa then goes on to fight Gohan, Krillin, and Piccolo. And everything plays out the same way, except for once Piccolo sacrifices himself, he has flashbacks of the time he spent with Gohan.
Where am I? Where's my dad?
Gohan, no! I will always be there to protect you.
Which again I thought was really good filler. Not all the filler is bad, some of it is actually really good, but in the Saiyan Saga it's like maybe 10% good filler. A lot of the stuff is just dragged out, like Goku on Snake Way, and somebody explained to me, why does it take Goku a lot longer to get back from Snake Way versus getting to King Kai's planet? Yeah, again, the filler. So moving along, then we have the fight between Goku and Nappa. I noticed when watching this that the attacks are the same in order, but Goku says different names based upon the attack in the anime versus the manga.
Piccolo! And Yamcha!
Why? I am really not sure. But everything else plays out the same, and once the fight's over, Goku states, "Let's go and fight somewhere else" to Vegeta. However, in the manga, it seems that Krillin is the one that suggested this idea because he didn't want his friends to be blown away during the battle.
I know a better place than this.
Wherever. Just lead the way.
Then the iconic showdown begins. In the anime, Vegeta offers a job at his side.
I'm only going to say this once, so listen carefully. I, Vegeta, Prince of all Saiyans, would like to offer you, Kakarot, the opportunity to stand beside me in this conquest.
However, in the manga, Vegeta just talks down to him about being a low-class warrior. Interesting, but this was pretty different. However, this is when I started to get annoyed watching the anime. You see, because during the fight with Goku and Vegeta, for some weird reason, Funimation decides to just throw in so much senseless filler with the other cast, and I never understood it. It started to get very old very quickly with the other cast and Baba looking at the ball, trying to figure out what's going on in the fight. The manga sticks straight to the fight and it doesn't run away from it. In the anime, Goku's portrayed more confident in the fight.
But even at your peak, you're still no match for me.
Wanna bet?
However, in the manga, Goku seems to just be taking it as it goes. So as the fight continues, we get to the epic beam struggle between Goku and Vegeta, and I gotta say, when you read this moment versus when you watch it, the impact is just completely different. One of the better scenes to watch animated. Again, reading it is just as fantastic, but watching it just, it just captures you, man. It just captures you.
I've got to take it further.
So then we move along to when Vegeta turns into the Great Ape. And again, the anime seems to cut back to the filler over and over. And it just gets tiresome at some point. I found myself really just shaking my head after a certain point and just skipping ahead on some of the filler because this is just needless at this point. I understand why filler exists, but to have it to the extent that the anime does, it's unnecessary. When watching the fight between Goku and Vegeta when Vegeta was in his Great Ape form, you can truly see just how vicious Vegeta was. These are some of the scenes that you want to watch more so than read, but when watching Vegeta just jump forward and crush Goku's legs was brutal to watch, man. It made me cringe because I'm looking at it and I'm just like, whoa, Vegeta is really just torturing this poor man. When Krillin throws a spirit bomb and Gohan goes to push it back, guess what happens next, guys? Can you guess? More filler. Yeah, they're just hammering it home with the filler, huh? Once the fight's over, in the manga, Goku talks to Krillin in his head, telling him to spare Vegeta. Through his mind, his body's too damaged to actually speak. However, in the anime, Goku talks through his mouth, speaking to Krillin from across the battlefield. Now, knowing that Toriyama had a specific vision of Goku not being a hero, seeing this scene play out in the manga was very different. In the manga, Goku tells Krillin to spare Vegeta only for selfish reasons, just so he can fight him again and that one day he could prove that he's better than him. However, in the anime, Goku tells Krillin to spare him because he sees people like Piccolo have changed, and if Piccolo can change, then so can Vegeta.
And if someone as evil as Piccolo can change, I think anyone can.
I think I do like the idea of Goku wanting Vegeta to survive just so he can surpass him. And with that, we come to a complete close of manga versus anime filler in Dragon Ball Z, the Saiyan Saga. The Saiyan Saga is easily my favorite saga, and here's why. In the Saiyan Saga, it felt like every character truly did play a part. It felt like the heroes only won at the end of the day, not because they were well prepared, because it took everything out of the heroes and more, and the biggest factor for them winning was luck. And that to me is what truly makes a great arc in Dragon Ball. Not every arc has to be decided by who's more powerful, but when the heroes exhaust themselves and they're all out of moves, all out of opportunities, it will take a little bit of luck for them to get past this point now. Vegeta was just relentless, and that is what truly makes a great villain, how far they can push the heroes. And Vegeta pushed them to the brink and beyond. So guys, this is the end of my first video into the series of manga versus anime filler. The next saga I'll cover will be the Frieza saga, which, oh boy. Yeah, there's a lot of filler in there that we gotta go over. So let me know what you guys thought about it. So make sure you guys leave a like, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to share that video because we're on that road to 10,000 subscribers, guys. Stay tuned. That's all I got.